Hello everyone. I have to say, so this is going to be my first video, which is a interesting topic, but at the same time a controversial topic. And I know it's weird starting with a topic like this, but I do hope it brings some perspective to all of us so we can grow as human beings in the world. This video will be about integration. Before I delve into the integration topic, please just hit the like button, subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet, and the bell icon to receive any updates on videos that I publish and post. So welcome to the Journey Within with Eva. It's my first video and my guides have been bugging me to talk about integration. So what is integration? Let's first talk about it. Integration is when one thing becomes part of another and they become one. We live in a duality world, good and bad, black and white, Jews and Muslim and Christian. So those are like all duality. And poor and rich and all these things that separate us into different groups, but then it doesn't allow us to come together and become one as the divine, as the source, as the universe. And for us to progress as human beings, we have to be able to shed the duality and be able to bring things together into one. It's, for example, if you have been in a love relationship, you are two opposite. Usually the opposites attract, or you might be similar, but you're two people. This is duality. But when you come together, that is the oneness, that full love, and how it makes you feel. That's the oneness we're looking for, and that's why it's so fulfilling, and so enjoyable, because you finally find a place that you can be one with someone. And that's the same with everything we have in life and society in the world. And at the moment there's so many issues going on that are just a result of separation. So my guides brought the topic integration because at this point in the world we need to learn to integrate the next, integrate the other and love the other and be able to accept the other without making them suffer or doing things that we would never do to us. It's being able to identify that we are the other, we are everything, we are one, we are all parts of the oneness. So the first thing I want to bring about integration is a personal example, which may, may explain how I see it and how I've been able to open my mind and open my heart to the other and evolve and grow and change my perspective and heal, ultimately heal the struggles I had within. So as you can see, I'm black. I am born in Cape Verde Islands, West Africa. Cape Verde was the transfer point for slaves that Portuguese used. So it is a society that was built from both sides, the slaves from Africa and then Portuguese and other people that were brought together to create that business approach ecosystem. So our society does bring both sides. And as I grew up, I could see the different perspectives that were still carried down from our ancestors. between things being said like, I'm not African, I'm from the Atlantic, just separating yourself from Africa. So those are ideas that obviously were brought from the white lineage that didn't want to identify with Africans because those were the slaves. And then I heard growing up things from another perspective, which were like a hate towards white people because of the slavery. So we have the hate towards white people, we have the not sure what to call it, but it's just separation from white people to black people, and the society was then molded from these two sides, which we end up being very mixed, and we are very welcome to other races and other people and everything, and we just accept people very well. But at the same time, these are things that we carry throughout our lineage, throughout our ancestors' legacy, and we carry them within us. Even scientifically, it has been proven that the traumas of slavery do carry down our DNA. So those are things that we carry down. So the first integration I want to request here is for black people and white people, for everyone that is racist, everyone that is xenophobe, everyone that has some sort of the reserves in terms of accepting another people, some people that are against immigration, people that are against all of these things. So this is the first integration topic I want to bring. Sorry. I just need some water. And this first integration, I call to you, independently of your race or background, to look into your lineage, yourself, your history, your family, your country. Look into how you feel and think of other people, other culture, other races, other ethnicities, the other that you don't accept. Maybe it's LGBT that you don't accept. Maybe it's the culture from someone next door. Maybe you're Japanese and you actually don't like Chinese. Maybe you are Korean but do not want to be called Japanese. Maybe you are black, African American, or you are a European from a African lineage as well, and you just have this hatred towards white for all that they've done, and you see all the differences and privileges they have. Maybe you're white and you see everyone else as lesser and don't understand why now we have to look into equality, or why there's special projects to help people from minorities, to help minorities. So just think about all these points and journal about it. And besides journaling about it, get to know the other, get to learn about the other culture, get to learn their perspective, right? So if you're Korean, you probably would go down, let me learn about what's the Japanese perspective about Korea. Let me learn about myself. Why is it that I don't want to be called Japanese? What is it that I have so much aversion to? Or maybe you're white and you're like, oh, there's all these special projects to give scholarship to black people and other minorities. Why don't I have that if I'm poor? If I was born a poor white and I didn't have cash and I don't feel like I have a privilege, I don't think I have a privilege. Try to learn about the other perspective, the perspective of the minorities. Try to understand how they feel. Try to understand why they say white people have privilege. Try to look around you and see how many people from the other side are in a place of power, are in a place of being a celebrity, or a place of being an authority. How many white people are authorities and celebrities and in a place of power? Why is it that the minorities want more opportunity? And what is it that has gone through my family line? And what is it that I can take ownership? If you're black, I know, and I have gone through it, this is a very hard exercise, and it does involve going down your traumas, and these are traumas that are passed down through our family line. So this is a very painful request, and I thank you for taking this step and really trying. And it's not just black people, there are other stories out there that are very painful, but I do welcome you to just look into yourself and find what is the other, learn about them, maybe listen to an audiobook, maybe learn how modern white people feel, and maybe actually learn the history, maybe try to understand what exactly happened in Africa, maybe try to understand other perspectives. And it might be that at the end, after you go through all these things to understand the other, you still don't understand them at all, and that's okay. Sometimes we just don't understand them, and that is perfectly fine. And if that is the case, that you got to the end of exploring the other and you're like, I still don't understand them, I don't have a clue why they did that, how can someone do such things, how can that happen? If that's the case, then that's when I'd invite you to sit down, journal all your pain out of you, write it down in a letter, put it all out, all your hatred, all your questions, put it all out until you feel that there's nothing else for you to write down there. And when you feel that there's nothing else left for you to write down about this topic, just burn those pages. Burn it safely, of course. Try to find a safe place to burn it, or another way of disposing of the letter so it can just be destroyed and transmuted. And when you're doing the destruction of these letters or burning them, just visualize the divine, the universe, the source, Tao, God, if you will, burning those feelings and transmuting them into love, into compassion. After you do that, just sit down, breathe in, and start meditating, and allow yourself to feel compassion, to understand that all that has been done was done as a cry for help, as a cry for love. When we talk about slavery, from what I've read about Portugal, they decided to go and explore the world because they needed more resources. They felt that Europe was basically run by Italy and other bigger countries, and Italy was already monopolizing the Silk Road trades with merchants from the Middle East. So that was a path that was already monopolized, and Portuguese did not have an option to go through the Mediterranean to do that. So they decided to go the other way and explore the world and see what they could find. So they went through that path as a cry for help because they wanted more. In a way, greed overcome people, because obviously they could have values, but then they went in the perspective of, I want to get more things and provide more for my family, for my country. So this is a very like my possessive ownership sort of perspective, and that's what they did. And then when they went, they created this excuse that it was in the name of God. And obviously for them to be able to go and do these things, they had to have the permission of the church, because obviously Catholic Church was such a big powerhouse before. And they found this as an excuse for things they did. And when they got into African, people were not Christians, did not look like them. What in their mind is that these are heretics. They need to be converted. They are savages. So what is the word savage? What is heretic? It's just from one, it's from a duality perspective. There's no such thing as savage. There's no such thing as heretic. People just don't match your paradigm, and that's why they use these words. They didn't match what they wanted. So they saw the Africans as resources, the human resource approach, basically. So if they are human resource, then they found a way to extract those resources and have personal gain and gain for their country without being compassionate to look into the other side and accepting the other side. So here I'm saying for us not to repeat the same mistake that has repeated throughout history, which is like separation, hatred, and identifying with yourself, and never have compassion and identifying with the other. Here you will sit down and learn to be compassionate. Try to put yourself in their shoes. If you were born a white Portuguese back then, would you have done slavery? Keep in mind that the principles and values and morals back then was completely different. There was a lot of stuff that were okay, and nowadays is not. So we have evolved so much as a society, but there's still so much more to do. So here I'm inviting you, whatever is the other side that you're not integrating, to integrate them, accept them, look into them, learn about them, be compassionate about them, and put yourself in their shoes. And beyond racism, there's other things I would welcome you to integration as well, which is women and men, female and male. And then we have all the other thing, which is LGBT, right? It's being stuck in your perspective and the hatred towards men, or the hatred towards LGBT, or the hatred towards something. So or the hatred about trans, which is obviously another topic that is very tricky to embrace and look into and try to put in their shoes. Keep in mind that a lot of what you see in the media is not the true reality and does not represent the real people. So you see in the media things about discussions about children being able to change their sex. That is not necessarily what a trans person would agree. Is not necessarily an LGBT perspective. That's the media. Do not let yourself be consumed by the media. The media motto is, it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead. So they want you to be in a place of pain and suffering. They want to bring the worst stuff for you to click in and be consumed by hatred. So forget about that. It's nothing to do with media. So try to look into the real people. Try to learn about real trans people, real women, real men, real LGBT community. Right? I do have an example. So obviously I do have some, I find that the way the world is approaching the LGBT community, trans and everything, is rather not real approach focusing on the people themselves. It's just another fight, another war. And there was one day I met this lady, and she was very beautiful and sweet, very nice. I was speaking with her, and to be honest, before she spoke, I would never think she was trans or not. She was just a woman, and I felt her feminine energy. And we were talking, and when she started talking, then I noticed the voice, and I was like, oh, okay, she's trans. That's amazing. I wouldn't have told. I could feel her female energy. So it's nothing about the body, it's about the energy. I could feel the female energy. She was as much as a woman as I was. And me personally, my worry about all the trans and things like that is that you will have people that are not truly the other gender in terms of energy, and they will use the system, and that's where the fear appears. Is also children not being able to make a decision because they haven't lived enough. So those are things that I believe that we have to be more careful. You will find people out there, they might be in a male body but they have a female energy, and they might be okay being a man with a female energy and they are attracted to women, and that's it. Or you might have those that are like, I don't feel like I'm a man and I have a male body but I have a female energy and I want to be a woman, and they will want to go through the process to become one. So that's a very controversial topic, but it's understanding that it's more than what you see. It's about the energy you feel. And some of you might be too early for you to actually feel the energies. And that's why I invite you to try to learn the other's perspective. Try to put yourself in their shoes and try to feel it. You will be able to feel their energy. You will be able to understand. And you will be able to be compassionate. And if you are from the minorities, if you are an LGBT, or if you're a trans, or you're someone that have been discriminated for being a man, discriminated for being a woman, you don't have the same opportunities, or whatever is your situation, I invite you to learn about the other as well. It will help you grow. Being able to understand the other, integrate the other, will help you grow, will help you overcome certain things within you, and will help you heal. This is an invitation for you to heal. The next integration I want to bring is another very controversial topic, and that is about wars. We have had several wars throughout history, including like World War I, World War II, especially World War II, which was definitely based on separation and this idea of superiority for being blonde white, but to be honest, even a lot of them were not blonde, so obviously it was just being brainwashed. And then we have the wars nowadays that we can see, and wars that we see nowadays is not just Ukraine, it's not just Palestine. There's other wars going on in the world that is because of separation, not being able to integrate and not being able to become compassionate and help the other. But I would say, if you are on the side of Israel, or you're on the side of Palestine, I would invite you to get out of your little box and try to understand the other side. Try to see what's the perspective of the other side. If you're on the Israeli side, think, what is the perspective of Palestine? What is it that you feel? What is it that's going on in the Palestine perspective? You'll find several videos on the perspective of each side. And if you're on the Palestine perspective, try to think on the other side and say, what is it that the issue? Is it actually the people? Or is it the politicians? Is it just a play? Sometimes wars are just a play. We're just being manipulated. So think of this and try to integrate the other. Try to accept the other. The next integration I want to bring is religion. Yes, we'll have to go there, which is a tricky one. And some religions are more accepting, more open to others. For example, Buddhism, it is okay for you to read the Bible, read the Quran, read all the books for the other religions, because you will learn from them. And you can learn and explore, because Buddhism is about the journey to your Buddhahood, to your God within. So everything that we see around, those are all lessons. that we can learn and integrate. But not all religions are like Buddhism. For example, me growing up, I've always heard this thing from Christianity, which is like, everyone else is going to hell because they're not Christian. I have to convert you. I have to force you into being a Christian. You must become a Christian, because otherwise you're a heretic that needs to be converted. But you know what? Where did we hear that? What happened when Portuguese went to Africa and didn't find Christians? Yes, exactly. So that is not yours. That's not your belief system, and that's not you following the voice of Jesus. Because Jesus is love, was about love. And thinking that you're superior to other people, that's an ego. You're on an ego journey. You can't think that that's Jesus. Do you think God don't love everyone? In what place of your little world and ideas do you think God don't accept everyone? And do you think God would communicate with everyone in the same language? So let's say if your God speaks Latin, do you think the God speaks with you in Latin? But how many people speak in Latin nowadays? Do you see why this is just a propaganda and things that were manipulated from back then? That's not reality. God will speak with everyone in their language. They will speak with everyone in what is easier for them to receive the message. So you might think of different things and know they're heretics, but maybe God is speaking to you through Christianity in your language, or maybe, just maybe, God is just one throughout the whole universe, sis, and time, space, reality, and God speaks, he or she or it, whatever. God speaks with people in what way they can receive the message and hear it. Maybe God will speak to people in Arabic and through Islamism. Maybe he will speak to Jews in Hebraic and through what they need to hear. Maybe he'll speak with Buddhists in terms of Buddhahood, or maybe he'll speak with Hindus through different gods approach. So if you think that God is oneness, God is everything, there is one God which is oneness, is consciousness. To communicate with us, you will have to use the message we best receive, because obviously if God comes to me and speak in Arabic, I'll be like, sorry, I don't understand Arabic, I don't speak Arabic. You come to me and speak in Russian, you think I'm gonna understand Russian? I'm not gonna understand Russian. So your God is oneness, is consciousness, and God will speak with people on the language, on the ways they can receive the message. And sometimes God speaks with you through angel numbers, through videos on YouTube like this one, or sometimes through other signs in your life, and sometimes through suffering to force you into growing within and start the journey. So there's different ways you will receive the word of God, or the divine, or source, or Tao, or universe, whatever you want to call it. That is why I invite you here to meditate. I think this one's probably the easiest one, but at the same time the hardest one, which is meditate on what God is for you, whether you're Christian or Muslim or Jew or Hindu or Sikh or Buddhist or whatever, or even if you're an atheist. Meditate about the Word of God. Meditate on what feelings come up. You might have to heal those feelings to be able to see beyond your ego veil. We are trapped in the ego, and unfortunately a lot of these things that have been done through on the name of religions were done from a human dark place. And it's not just slavery that was done through saying there was because of spreading the word of God. It was also burning women and people they called witch and whatnot on a stake and torturing them. And it wasn't just women, it was also Jews, it was also any other religion. It has been also things like being a terrorist. All these things are done in the name of God, but they're not God. Those are human egos, humans in a dark place crying for help, that need love. So be someone that is in your center, be centered, and be the one compassionate enough to send love to everything, to integrate the next. I feel there's a next integration, but for some reason I don't get any message right now. I believe I'm meant to do a second video about integration, and I'm happy to do so. But for now, I think those cover several different issues that we can see in society today, and that we have to learn about integration. I do welcome you to meditate in anything that you see as the other. Oh, I know, there's another one. I can't remember now. The other integration is about being rich and being poor. It's about money. It's a bit trickier because basically we grow up with different ideas that we hear from everyone, and just think of this: every idea you hear about around you, they're not necessarily yourself. They're not you. They're ideas you've heard. So go back to yourself and try to understand money, and try to demystify your ideas of rich and poor. So you might be someone that's poor and see like, oh, rich people are corrupt, rich people are greedy, rich people don't help others. But I would ask, is that true? Have you asked yourself, is that true? Do you have evidence that that's the case? Can you generalize all rich people in the world, all millionaires, all billionaires in the world? Even let's say Bill Gates, he actually donates a lot for charity. Now think about other rich people and how they help. Not all rich people are the same, as not all poor people are the same. Being rich or poor has nothing to do with your essence of who you are, and you can't just say that they're all the same. Anytime in your life that you just say, let's say you can say all women are materialistic, that is not true, is it? Do you have proof that all women in the world that have been born in all time space reality were materialistic? Is being a woman, is there physical, is there something that we're born with that makes us materialistic? You see, so these are things that you have to ask yourself, is it true? Do I have proof? Is it true? Is it that actually everyone is what you're saying? So I invite you here to ask the question, is it true? And if you're rich and you see poor people and you're like, oh, they're probably just lazy, they don't know how to make money, they haven't studied or stuff like that, just think about it and understand how the other people feel, and try to look into their life, try to be compassionate and connect to the other people. And I would ask you as well, is it true? Have you ever seen how much a cleaner works? How much someone in construction works? It doesn't mean that they're lazy. It doesn't mean that they're all addicts in alcohol or drugs or something like that. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that they have things in their life that they have to overcome, and maybe one of them is to accept money, to accept abundance, and understand that the world is abundant. It's just a dynamic thing. So I will invite you also to look into this perspective. So if there is any other integration type out there that you can go through, just add in the comments below and basically share your story, share how you integrated something, how did it go for you. Just share, and you sharing your story will help the next person. There's so many times that I've seen a video that my guide sent to me, and I've watched the video and there was nothing that I could take from the video. But you know what, when I looked into the comments, I found the message that I was meant to hear. So don't shy away from sharing your message. It will help others. If you are in a very negative place and hate this video, that means you have a lot of work to do. And I invite you to sit down, meditate, and feel, why is it that they trigger me so much? So if any of this video did trigger you, there's something in it that you will have to look into and grow. So the question is, why did it trigger you? How can you overcome that trigger, and how can you grow from it? And if it triggered you, I'm happy for it. You know why? It means that I got to the spot you need to grow on. And I'm happy that you were able to identify the trigger. So thank you for watching this video. Please hit the like, subscribe button and leave a comment. And I look forward to sharing the next videos with you. Stay tuned. Let me know what you think about the video, and I do look forward to knowing about your journey to integration, because we can make a better world when we just drop all the weight of separation and start to integrate the next person. Thank you for staying with me until the end. This ended up being a longer video than I thought, but I love you, I cherish you, and I wish and hope that you can look within and help yourself in the journey within. Thank you for joining me, and blessings for today.